Oh, all right, guys, here we go. The Surge Rules of Three, episode 33.
33.
So, yeah, 33. Lots of episodes. Now, you guys are probably all sitting there going, Andrew, look out! There's someone in your video! This crazy man with a beard is just sitting there. Well, he's not just anyone. Obviously, I invited him here. This is Ryan King from Oscorp K9. So, Ryan, why don't you just tell everyone what you do really quickly and then we'll crack on.
Right, I'm a professional dog trainer. I'm from South Australia. I'm in Brisbane this week. I've got some courses on that I'm going to learn from. Catching up with my friend and coach, mentor, Andrew. I'll be helping him train some of his dogs while I'm here. And I've got a few workshops that I'll be attending and presenting in as well while I'm up here. So.
Cool as. And so what I wanted to do is I thought, what better opportunity to do our first Rules of Three interview and get someone else to give you some rules for once. Not just, Andrew, we're thinking of all your rules. What is someone else's rules? So what I thought is, being a dog trainer, Ryan would have a knowledge on dogs that none of us have. And I thought, well, what syncs with the channel? Or what syncs with the videos, the Rules of Three? And the answer is what can we learn from dogs that we can apply to our daily life, that we can apply to our business? What are our 3 rules that we can apply to our life and our business? Because there is a lot we can learn from dogs, whether it be learn from how they act, whether it be learn from how they approach life, or whether it be how they respond to us. And if we can learn those traits, I think a lot of us will be a lot more successful. On that note, Ryan, what's rule 1?
Oh, they're good questions. I'll give you some of the ideas I've come up with over the years. One, they don't judge. So they don't care of your status. They don't care if you're the director of a company or if you're the janitor in the company. They'll get to know you and they'll judge on your character.
Which is pretty important.
It's very important. Particularly in like sales and sales coaching and stuff, they're not going to judge by the person that the car that they rock up in as to what they're going to potentially buy from them.
Yeah, that's very true. Just
Definitely.
because someone's in a great car doesn't mean they're going to buy the best product on the market.
Yeah. So that would be my rule 1. Don't judge people, get to know them and go off their character.
Yeah. Rule 2?
Rule 2, life is short. I've only been doing it about 15 years and I've got 4 personal dogs and I've seen many come and go over those years. So life is short, live in the moment. And that's what they do the best.
How do they do that?
Well, they're not worried about what happened to them last week or yesterday. If something's good, they're going to take the opportunity and make their life better every minute they can. So the reason they do things is because it makes them feel good. And they don't do things if it doesn't make them feel good.
That's really actually quite powerful. I often say to myself, people say, is there anything I can do to feel better? I said, well, what makes you feel good? And I'll be like, oh, well, I like having a cup of coffee. Go have a cup of coffee. Go have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
That's it. They don't follow stress. They move away from it. And that's what they naturally do. And that's something I think that we can definitely learn from. It's not always possible as humans in a human society, but definitely can learn from that.
Perfect. And what would rule 3 be? So rule 1 is they don't judge. Rule 2 is life is short, live in the moment, move away from stress and towards things that make you feel good. And rule 3...
probably the biggest thing they've taught me working with them and taught me about myself is self-discipline. Lots of patience and to be consistent. And you can apply that outside the dog training. You can apply that to your business.
So how have they taught you that and I suppose why?
Okay, so, if you're not consistent, do you expect to have a consistent result?
Well, no.
This is something that I go through a lot when my clients come to see me is let's get these things consistent. Let's say this is what it is and this is what it means. And I drill it so the handler is clear on what it means and then the dog is clear on what it means. I'm like, that's what you use. Don't throw in all these other words. Don't throw in all these other signals. Teach the dog the consistency, teach it how to learn, and be patient with it.
Yep.
If you're coming home frustrated, don't go and train that dog. Don't pick up the phone. Don't.
Why not? Why not train a dog when you're not super patient?
Yeah, because it spirals out of control really quickly.
Yeah.
And, and we don't want them to be our emotional trash cans. We don't want them to be taking stuff out on them, and it's not fair. It's really hard if you've got 2, 3, 4 dogs and you're trying to train all those dogs individually. So that might be the same as dealing with different clients. If you've just had a client or a phone call, might not even be a client, you've had a phone call, you've just been stressed out, get yourself prepared, get ready, be patient going into the next one. Don't carry that over. So
Pro tip 1. Right there. Don't yell at the client.
I'm trying to find analogies how I can
no, that's a pro tip.
move into the real world.
Absolute pro tip. I love it. And self-discipline.
Self-discipline, I guess that all ties in. Look, that's I'm lost for words on that one. It's just
the more I suppose how does it apply to dogs really? Like how does self-discipline apply? Why do you need to have self-discipline for your dog?
I guess that explains the patience and consistency. It's I don't want to be taking things out on my dogs or my clients' dogs that have upset me. I really want to make sure I'm clear on what I'm asking, and for what I do, I get very technical. So I'm looking to micro-tune my dog's behaviours. Without that self-discipline, I'll be all right today. No, tomorrow I'll tighten it up. I'll let it go this week.
So really the act of doing it every day or the act of doing it every single time without letting go is what generates the result.
Yeah, and I guess that's the consistency part of it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Awesome. Well, there are your 3 rules, guys. Your Surge rules of 3 as written, as told by Ryan King from Oscorp Canine. Also one of the best dog trainers in Australia, so definitely go check him out. The man, the myth, the legend right here. On that note, dogs will teach us a lot. And what they teach us is don't judge. They don't judge. They just go off what your character is. They get to know you first. Rule 2 is life is short, live in the moment, move away from stress and towards what feels good. And rule 3, self-discipline, patience and consistency. If you train a dog without self-discipline, patience and consistency, you generate no results. If you run your business, if you run your life without self-discipline, patience and consistency, also generating very little results. And on that note, empower your business, empower your life. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.